Today, we're diving into a 2,500-year-old guide to developing emotional armor. And what's wild is how perfectly it speaks to one of the toughest parts of modern life, dealing with criticism. So let me just ask you straight up. When somebody comes at you with something harsh, doesn't matter if it's true or false or said nicely or just plain mean, what's your gut reaction? Do you feel that flash of anger? Does it just, sink your whole day? Well, this ancient teaching offers a completely different way to handle all of that. And this whole idea, it doesn't start with some lofty, abstract concept. Nope. It starts with a very human, very relatable problem about a monk who, like a lot of us, just could not take the heat when people he cared about were getting criticized.
So, meet Faguna. He was really, really close with a group of nuns. And anytime someone said a single bad word about them, he'd get super defensive, really angry. He'd even try to get them in trouble. And, the nuns did the same thing for him. It was just this classic cycle of getting all tangled up emotionally, defending them, defending himself.
So when the Buddha heard what was going on, his first piece of advice was pretty simple. He basically told Faguna, look, this intense attachment you have, that's the root of your problem. But that was really just step one. The real lesson, the one that applies to all of us, was just about to begin. To really get to the heart of the matter, the Buddha tells this brilliant little story, a parable, and it's designed to make you question what it even means to be a calm person. I mean, how do you really know what you're like deep down? So picture this. There's a housewife named Videhika, and her reputation is spotless. I mean, everyone in town knows her as the sweetest, most calm, most even-tempered person around. But her maid, a really sharp woman named Kali, she had her doubts. She's thinking to herself, is my mistress really this serene, or is she only calm because I'm so good at my job that nothing ever goes wrong? So, Kali decides to run an experiment. Day one, she does something tiny. She just gets up a little bit late. The reaction? Videhika gives her a scowl. Okay. The next day, Kali pushes it a little further. She gets up even later. And this time, that famous calm just cracks and Videhika snaps at her with angry words. Day three, Kali goes for broke. She gets up way, way later. And that is when Videhika completely loses it, grabs the closest thing she can find, a door pin, and actually hits her maid over the head with it. So Kali, with her head bleeding, runs out to the neighbors, shouting for everyone to see what happened. And just like that, Videhika's entire reputation as a sweet and calm person is shattered. Turns out, her calmness was completely conditional. And that's the whole point of the story, right? It is so easy to be calm and collected when everything's going your way. The real test of your character, your true temper, is how you act when you're provoked. That's when you find out what's really lurking under the surface. Now, what's so great about this ancient wisdom is that it doesn't just point out the problem and leave you there. It gives you the solution. It actually lays out a training plan for your mind. So let's look at how you actually build this kind of resilience. Okay, so the teaching is very clear that criticism can come at you in all kinds of ways, right? It could be timely, or it could come out of nowhere. It might be totally true or a complete lie. The person could say it gently or be really harsh. Their intention could be to help you or to hurt you. It might come from love or from a place of secret hate. But here's the absolute key. It does not matter. The training for how you respond is exactly the same no matter what. This right here is the core of the whole thing. It's the commitment you make to yourself when you're under fire. It's a promise that you will not let your mind get poisoned by this. You won't lash out, and not only that, you'll actively work to feel sympathy and love even for the person who is criticizing you. This is the bedrock of an unshakable mind. Now, to make this idea feel less abstract and more, real, the teaching gives us 4 incredible metaphors. 4 ways to visualize what this kind of resilient mind actually feels like. Think of them as mental models for what we're aiming for. First up, you're told to train your mind to be like the great earth. Just stop and think about that. You can throw anything you want on the earth. You can spit on it, you can dump garbage on it, you can dig at it. And what happens to the earth? Nothing. It just absorbs it. The Earth is so incredibly vast, so deep, so limitless. It just takes it all in without being changed or damaged. That's the first model for our mind. To be so big, so grounded that all that negativity just gets absorbed without a trace.
Okay, next we go from the solid ground to something totally different. We're told to cultivate a mind as open and empty as space itself. This gives us a whole other angle on resilience, right? Imagine trying to paint on the air. It's impossible. The paint has nothing to stick to. A mind trained to be like space is like that. Hurtful words, insults, they just have nowhere to land. There's no surface for them to cling to. They just pass right on through.
So we've had earth and air. The third metaphor takes us to water. A mind like the massive, flowing Ganges River. Now, imagine you take a single little burning torch made of grass, and you try to set that whole river on fire. It's just a ridiculous thought, isn't it? The river is too big, too deep, it's constantly moving. In the same way, a mind like the Ganges can't be burned by the heat of someone's anger or criticism. It stays cool. It just keeps on flowing.
And the last model is probably the most unusual one, but it's just as profound. It's not about being vast or empty. It's about being supple.
So the text talks about a cat skin bag that's being treated and rubbed until it's perfectly soft and silent. If you hit it with a stick, it doesn't make a sharp, crackling noise. It's too soft. It just absorbs the blow. A mind like this doesn't get brittle or reactive when it's struck by criticism. It stays soft, and it absorbs the impact without making a sound. So after laying out this whole mental training program, the teaching ends with the ultimate test. The final exam, you could call it. It's a shocking, unforgettable image designed to drive the point all the way home. It's called the simile of the saw.
Okay, I know, this is incredibly extreme, and it is meant to be. The point is to be absolute. Even if you were facing the most horrific violence imaginable, the training is exactly the same. My mind will not degenerate. I will remain full of sympathy with a heart of love. The idea is, if you can maintain that state of mind, even in this thought experiment, what power could everyday criticism possibly have over you?
And that's what it all comes down to. This isn't about pretending criticism doesn't sting. It's about fundamentally rewiring your inner world so that it can't actually harm you. It's about building a mind as vast as the earth, as open as space, as cool as a river, and as soft as well-rubbed leather. So the final question to ask yourself is this. If you could truly train your mind to be that way, what in the entire world could ever really shake you?